Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 17th St. Patrick's Day of March here. I know we got a lot going on. The tournament's going live and well, going on just as I expected. I'll bring up that here in just a few minutes here. Carlos Mad New Yorker Chavez should be here on Friday, but we'll see. Got a lot I want to talk about with him tonight. I'm curious about Barkley. Charles Barkley said something, and I'll get his opinion on about whether or not this is what players did back in the day, quote unquote. Very funny stuff. Also, I did look up, and I'll go over this with him in a little bit. How many number 2 seeds have beaten 15 seeds? So I got a little bit of a stat here on that, according to Sporting News. So go ahead and get our break out of the way, and we'll be back here in 49 seconds and hit the ground running here on Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then, I'm back here live. I'm waiting for Carlos to pop up here, make sure he got my invitation. Sometimes I forget to send the invitation. Appreciate that, Pickles. I want to say, Carl, yeah, I'll send it to him later. I was just wanting to make sure. But we'll be on standby for him. I haven't heard anything from him, and he hasn't popped up yet. Busy guy, a lot going on today. But anyways, okay, so just in case you're wondering, so the NBA has, things have changed over college football or the college basketball game in the NBA over the past 25 years, particularly since LeBron came out. I understand that Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bryant went from high school. But, hey, never mind. Here's Carlos. There he is. Hey, man, how's it going tonight?
Yo, happy Friday. I was sitting in the studio from a show that ended.
Hey, that's okay, man. I really appreciate you taking time to come out here. You've been very consistent, man. You're like one of those really good pitchers. You're like Rivera, man. I mean, you just come in there and you close the game out. You close the week out. You're like Mariano Rivera. I was just going to talk about the tournament. Now, 15 seeds. Here's an interesting stat. How many, just take a guess off the top of your head. As I got this from Sporting News. They've been around since like 1886, by the way.
Yo, you remember read that at the library?
Yeah, at the library. When I did security in New York City, I used to get Sporting News, the Post, and the Daily News, man.
Oh, see, I got lucky. I was in a place that has Sports Illustrated.
Hey, well, I always read Sports Illustrated, but on my daily. So, Sporting News, how many 2 seeds in the history of the tournament do you think have lost to 15 seeds in the history of the tournament?
I'd say about maybe 5.
Check this out. It's 11.
Wow.
7 in the last 10 years. I don't recall that.
No, I don't. I was going to say 10, but then I was like, that's too many. Let me go 5.
That tells you, how the talent has diluted, and it's a lot of the talent's international now than NBA, and a lot of guys, go straight. They play overseas, or they play in the G League or whatnot. So, I mean, it's not – I thought this year we would have a lot of upsets. We've had a few. That was a big one, the Arizona-Princeton, man.
Yeah, man.
Do you think it's going to be more? What's your thought on this thing? Isn't Purdue losing right now, or did they come back?
No,
it's okay. But they were losing by a point earlier. I know it was still early, but I'm just curious. So, what's your thoughts of this tournament so far? Is it as advertised? Because I said this could be a George Mason year.
So for me, I'm already out. My bracket busted with.
I saw it.
3/4 of Pac-10 lovers. And I was trying to not have an East Coast bias. I was trying to look for a team that could make it. That's not from the East Coast, And I was like, and UCLA. I'm like, they're the highest, but maybe they're too high. So then I was like, Arizona's right in the middle. They've been playing good basketball for the last 2 years. They got some kids that are coming back that were juniors this year that will be in the NBA. So I was like, let me pick that team, and it just didn't work in my favor. But it's been a good tournament, man. It's exciting. you get to see some of these guys play that you haven't seen before, like on a regular basis. Yeah. The ones that you've seen on a regular basis, they're not going to be the same because it's a different type of level competition, right? You got to play to stay, right?
Yeah.
And if you lose, you go home, and that's a different mentality than the whole season. You're like, oh well, if you win, you got the next day, to recuperate, and then you got another game. So it's great, man. This time of year is always exciting. You're always going to see a few teams that you didn't think they were going to get as far, and it's been as advertised a little bit, maybe even a little bit better, I think.
Yeah, I like that. I like that play at the end of was it Furman?
Virginia.
Beat Virginia with that steal, man. That's going to be like Valparaiso hitting that 3 at the end. That's going to be big. They're going to be playing that years from now as a promo.
It's. I mean, even Tennessee when they came out, and they usually do for the first half, and you're like, okay, they got a rhythm going. They're shooting okay. They're using the big guy because the big guy only averages 10 points a game. He don't play that much. And last night he played more than I expected him to. And, and then all of a sudden you just see the team come back on him and you're like, what is going on? The last 2 minutes was like the best part of the game. They almost lost. That 17-point lead.
I took that Louisville and the points on that one or Louisiana, excuse me. Yeah, Tennessee, they're lucky to win any kind of game. They've had injuries. They're way down this year. Yeah, FDU's beat Purdue, the number 1 seed, 39-36. Now it's 16 minutes to go in the second half.
Now, FDU had to play to get into the tournament. They were one of those qualifying teams. I saw them play the qualifying game, and I was like, this team is not – it's too scary to be trying to play, on
those teams have had more success. Didn't Pittsburgh have to play their way in? They won today too.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a different type of basketball now because consistency doesn't matter anymore. You just got to play the best game ever every game until you're kicked out, right? So that's a different mentality, right? You know how it is. Like when you're playing with your boys, you don't have to do nothing. But when you play with somebody you don't know, you got to step it up a level. Because you don't know the competition, and it's that's just playing in your backyard. Imagine playing in front of thousands of people, and then you got to play to stay in the tournament.
Yeah, it's human nature. Some players and people just rise up to the occasion, and others don't. So Charles Barkley, he played for Auburn back in the 80s, the early 80s. I think he got drafted in 84, if I'm not mistaken, Pickles. He said something funny about the trainers. I want to get your thoughts on this.
Are you talking about the shower bit?
Huh?
Are you talking about the shower bit?
Yeah. Don't tell the audience. I'm going to play. This is so funny, man.
I mean, it's so much stuff that goes into this. And shout out to all the trainers also. To have, and the guys who do all the uniforms, to get the uniform cleaned up and everything. I mean, I'm so old. We used to take a shower in our uniforms because, when we flew a commercial my first few years. There's no
Kenny Smith's like.
Yes, it is. You're making this up. No, there's no way that you were supposed to wash your uniform. When I first you're making this up. I'm not making this up. Let him finish.
So this is Clark. I didn't say that. Clark Kellogg Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith and Greg Gumbel in the background. Just a few more seconds here.
Let him finish, Kenny. They give you so. Let him finish, Kenny. When I first got to the NBA, we flew commercial. Yes, I'm not disagreeing with you. So when you played the night before and flew the next morning, when was you exactly going to get your uniform clean? You had to wash your uniform yourself. So after the game, when you got to your room, you took a shower in your uniform and dried it, dropped on the commercial line the next day. You took Jed Clampett?
Greg Gumbel's like, who are you, Jed Clampett? Do you think that they took showers in their uniform in the 80s?
So,
Kenny Smith said this bull crap.
No. It took me back to when I was in high school. I was trying out for the football team, and then we had a spring training. You go on your pads and do a little bit of hitting, and then everybody goes to the locker room, and these kids jump in the shower with their jersey and their pads on, and then they just leave the jersey in the locker. And I was like, what is going on? And that smell was just gross, man.
It's an awful smell.
And I'm like, well, and this was like, late 90s, man. This wasn't, and so I didn't like it. I didn't like some of those things. I didn't like a few things about the football coach. So I was like, those. I drew the line at a point. And I was like, nah, I'd rather just play soccer, run cross country, and play some basketball and stay away from football, man. And it was, they ain't nothing. I mean, that sounded like something that was happening common, like
Well, Kenny Smith's and Clark Kellogg, those guys played too. Kenny Smith, there's no era where, and plus, I wrote for the paper, the student campus. That is so unsanitary.
Very unsanitary.
That is crazy. They had a issue with staph infections with the locker room issue in Austin Peay. They totally got it cleaned up. Something like that would just be a nightmare. I think Barkley is BSing that. But it's a funny story, though. And you said there may be some truth to it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it happen. I mean, but this was football. It wasn't basketball by all means, but it was football. And just where it depends on the budget, depends on where you at. They didn't have washing machines. Coaches had to take the uniforms to the house and wash them. I remember one time we had our coach take our uniforms in high school. I played freshman ball, and he took them home. He came back, and some of them must have shrunk a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he forgot the shorts, so we had to play with shorts we had white. It was supposed to be white on white. We had white with blue shorts because he forgot the shorts. Like
man,
but this was back in the day. It happens. Things like that.
Yeah. I just never thought. I played a little bit in the Y and stuff, but that is just, you can't get everything out of that. Plus, you don't want to shower with the uniform on. That's, you either use detergent for your clothes, use body soap for your body. You can't just do both. I mean, that's crazy talk. That's Barkley talking out of his rear end. But maybe there is something to it. I don't know.
Not all schools got budgets, man. Like to be doing. Not all schools got washer and dryers and stuff like that. So but to hear that him coming from Auburn,
you think he's just saying that?
Maybe he did that a couple times to be lazy. Maybe he was like, "I just do," like. And listen,
Kenny
you do
Smith,
a lot of
there's never been an error.
You do a lot of crazy things, man. When you're trying to, when you're playing sports and you're being a knucklehead. I mean, I remember one time I had got cleated and I started bleeding, and I just pulled my sock up a little bit higher just so I could stay in the game.
Dang, yeah.
My sock was white, and then I came out.
It was red. All right, Roger. Kurt Schilling.
Yeah, I know when I saw that happen with Kurt Schilling, I was like, I knew what was happening.
You're just as bad as Barkley. So maybe that's why you're good on the program. You're just as bad as Barkley. Okay, well,
there's a lot of stuff we do that's disgusting, man.
Okay, so all right, well that's all the thoughts on the on that. Now you're up in New York, so what's the vibe out with Sports Talk Radio? I mean, we're over a week now between this Aaron Rodgers hold up and the Jets. What's the sense you're hearing in the land. I'm hearing it's probably some kind of crazy demand Rodgers has made, but it's not. He's not wanting to own it.
I mean, listen. You hear about it on ESPN and on Fox,
Yeah.
I'm sure. But imagine like that times 20, maybe even 40.
But WFAN, what are they saying about it?
WFAN, you got your local guys over here on and every network broadcasting, podcasts and radio shows and TV shows and local TV shows, and it's just crazy, right? Like, I think the worst part is that again it happens with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the worst part. It just happened with the Mets like less than 8 weeks ago.
It did, didn't it?
So I mean, about signing.
Who was it? Who was this pitcher?
No, he was a regular player on what's his name?
But they had a player to back out at the last minute.
Yeah, because he took a physical and he was gonna.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He was gonna fail the physical because he had an issue. Well, whatever the deal might be, but it fell through. And and then the Mets had just gone through that, and of course, because it's the Mets and not the Yankees, it got all that happening,
blown out of proportion.
Yeah, and now it's the Jets. So these teams, the Nets, Jets, and Mets, they can't get themselves out of the news for anything negative, right? So when anything negative happens, those three teams are always going to be like in a mix for something to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
But I say this, and I think the deal is going to happen. I don't think it's one of those things that's going to happen right away. It's more about the value of his contract and how are the Jets going to manipulate the contract for Rodgers, and how are they going to compensate the Packers? And also, what do the Packers want, right? And so Aaron Rodgers is just a man in the middle. He don't have to do or say anything. He has agents and PR people for that. But, he came out and said something, and it sounded like he threw the Packers under the bus, right?
Yeah.
So now the Jets have to sweeten the deal to make sure that, they're compensated for everything that's going on. That's a $60 million bill that somebody's got to pay. And
you think it's that, or you think it's another player that Rodgers is trying to get?
I think it's a little bit of everything, man. It's just like it's not an easy transaction to begin with. The worst thing, though, is that it got into the news media. The fact that somebody spilled that he had a wish list.
Right.
I mean, the fact that, man, he's Aaron Rodgers and he came out of a dark space was already crazy news, right? So, think about it. If Derek Jeter did that, or do you
think maybe they should walk away at this point, the Jets?
The Jets are in a mess because they need a quarterback. So, they could reach out to Lamar, but Lamar, his number is crazy too. That you might as well just take the hit and try to take the hit with the Aaron Rodgers contract, right?
Yeah,
that one's going to be it's going to cost you a little less, and it's a shorter span. So if anything happens, you can wiggle your way out of that one. With Lamar, you're going to get a bigger contract, and if anything happens, you won't be able to move away from that situation, right? So, the Jets can't back out of anything right now. If anything, they should be looking to sign quarterbacks from Canada, for all I know. I mean, they just need something, and they need something quick, and it's not a quick process. If it's with Rodgers or Lamar, it's not.
Would you consider simply just walking away from this and continuing just to build your team with that 13th pick with your draft capital? And yes, they're rolling with Zach Wilson, but not because they want to, because they have to, and they don't want to overspend for another player they really don't want anyways, and just try again next year.
But here's the thing. You know how immature this kid is. You know that his skill level and his abilities are, what you're getting when he gets on the field. Do you want to put the kid on the field who feels like he's been neglected and brushed to the side? Do you want to bring that guy back on the field? And is the team going to rally around him to be a championship?
Because they're already publicly advocating to bring Rodgers there.
Right.
I think you can reel it in. A good head coach would be able to reel this stuff in.
But that's not what the Jets have.
Yeah.
They don't. And on top of that, this coach, his head is on the line as well. They about to, his head about to get cut off too. If they don't make the playoffs and something ridiculous happens, the coach is gone.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate that Mr. I forgot his name now, the owner there.
Woody Johnson
would want to do that, It seemed like they had some traction other than Zach Wilson.
Well, Mike White got
overspin like that.
Well, Mike White got picked up by the Dolphins, right?
Yes.
So,
I mean, there's still Tannehill down here. There's that connection. But do you want to pay? I mean, maybe you pay Tannehill for 1 year and make that trade. But then what about next year? Rodgers saying 90% I'm going to retire. And now this deal's not getting done. There's something big in there.
No, what's big is just the Jets don't want to give up that 13, I think.
That makes sense for a guy who's only going to play one. I mean, maybe say a conditional for additional years if he decides to play. I think it's worth if you get 3 years out of Rodgers. But if you're just getting a year and you're holding your breath, I don't know if all this is worth it, man.
Here's the reality. If you give him a year, he's in the 9th game. He gets smacked really hard, breaks a rib, or somebody hits his knee. He's out for 2 years anyways.
Like Favre only played about 9 games, didn't he?
He ain't gonna come back from that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So, and that's something I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but it's something that could happen, and it's something that when you sign that huge contract, that you got to be wary of. That's why the Packers didn't really want to sign him the second time, right?
Yeah,
and then he forced his way into getting a nice contract, and now he wants to get out of it, but there's not a trade clause in his contract either, so that's another thing.
And they've got it set up where his money don't kick in till September 1st. They can weigh this all the way out to Labor Day weekend.
But the Jets
on the Rodgers side. But
the Jets are willing to wait though, so that's another thing. They're willing to wait this out, and this just became like a snowball, right?
Yeah.
It went from like the Jets have an opportunity getting Aaron Rodgers. Now it's like, okay, so what next? And the fan base is getting irritable, because we're New Yorkers, you know what I'm saying? And they want to make sure that he's in camp, and they're doing a preseason workout and all that. And it's just this is exactly what happened also last year to Mekhi Becton. The first round pick had issues with weight. Then he said something that he was going to come back and he's going to be in shape. He came back. He did lose a little bit of weight, but then it wasn't what he said it was going to be. Yeah. And then, everybody's like, well, he looks good to practice. And then 2 practices later, he's up chucking and not feeling well. And then a day later after that, he ends up hurting himself, getting a knee injury. So,
right, that's why I had to go out and get Dwayne Brown. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, but again, this is all going on in the media instead of in closed doors.
Right.
There wasn't no PR woman or man saying, "Hey, Mekhi Becton, currently will only play a couple games just to see if he's used to it. He's coming back from an injury. Maybe we're going to put him in slowly." That's all they had to say. But no, his weight is this. His weight should be this. He doesn't look like he can hang. He looks like he's struggling. Look at him coughing up a lung. And all this is like out in the open, and and now fans are like, well, should we just trade him? Should we cut him?
Right. Yeah, I remember that. That happened all during training camp. Yeah.
And it's like, and it's the same thing every year, Robert. Every year. If your team ends with the ETS, then you're definitely gonna be in the news, man. And that's a bad part,
Yeah.
That's a bad thing about it. So
yeah, and the teams that really win, they don't make these knee-jerk reactions, man.
And there's very little noise.
Right. It's a lot of noise.
Not a lot of noise. And I give credit to the Giants when they did that Galladay thing and the Tony thing. they shut it down. They were like, okay, we're
Very
cutting
quiet.
him.
Very quiet.
Yeah, they're like, we're cutting him. We're letting him loose, and everybody's like, what? That's your draft pick. He's supposed to be the future. And then Galladay, we're sitting him, and everybody's trying to understand what's the only one who made noise were the players. Tony was like, I don't know what they want from me. If they want me, fine. I'm leaving or whatever. And then he's like, I got rap music to sell anyways. I got CDs to sell, right? And then Galladay was like, yo, they should just put me on the field. I don't know why they not put me on the field. And then he's like, even if they don't pay me on the field, I'm getting paid anyway. I don't care, whatever, right? So
yeah, and something, it's good to do that in the middle of the season because the media gets so caught up in the games that it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. If you do it in March, everybody talks about it.
Look, the draft hasn't even started. And
right.
We've talked so much about draft picks, about selection numbers, about where people are going to fall, this and that, because that's the only news that people can get. So, it's just crazy. Here in New York, it's just crazy, man. It's just remember that term that we learned in college in media. It's like all that mudslinging, is going on. And the problem is some of it sticks to the walls, man. That's the problem, so.
Yeah. So that's a good transition. So what do you think about Darren Waller, the offseason moves by the Giants?
So see, I still feel like the Giants are stuck at zero at neutral because they got rid of Kyle Rudolph, right? Remember I said on your show?
Yeah.
And then they pick up Waller. Now Rudolph was older.
He was like 34, I want to say.
So Waller's like 30 because of his injuries. Even though
he's 30. Yeah, that's true.
Because he's like 26 or something like that, 27.
No, he's 30 on the
money.
He's
actually 30.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, I looked it up earlier.
Yeah, so it's like, and he's been in and out of lineup. Now I'm gonna
His play has deteriorated since 2020.
I just think McDaniels didn't know how to use him because he was more of a wideout than he was a tight end. You can't. Yeah. He's too small to be a blocking tight end, and he just wasn't enough to give Jacobs that little bit of rush.
But he's 6'6". His height, he's tall.
Yeah, but he's not big. He's not big. He plays like Graham. Graham was more of a wide receiver than he was a tight
Graham
end.
With the Saints, yeah.
Yeah, so with the Seahawks and the Saints. Yeah, so don't look, if these guys are great catchers, like a what you call remember the guy from the Cowboys, the tight end?
Witten?
No, the one before that. Novacek?
No, Jay Novacek, yeah.
Remember him?
Super Bowl years.
Yeah, so he was a catching tight end. Yeah. And they might have been one scheme or two where he just kind of had to chip block somebody or just getting away. But he wasn't making holes for Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith was riding on the opposite side of him.
Yeah.
He wasn't, Novacek wasn't in there like grinding it out and trying to make those 3-4 yards for Emmitt Smith. No. So this smart play calling is not existent with this. What's going on? I don't know. Look, it's okay to have a fullback. It's okay to have an old lineman go in and block for your running back. If this guy's 6'6" and weighs 210, and he might be stout, but don't make him a blocking quarter. He can catch the ball. Just make him go out there, run his little pattern, and give him the ball. Why are you making him block? For what?
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, you're looking at they brought back Hodge. I'm just looking at their updated.
Look what happened with Gronkowski. Gronkowski could have 5 more years, but he's such a meathead that he went in there. He's like, no, I'm gonna block. And I'm gonna make sure I hit somebody.
He was physical, man.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's an okay mentality. But listen, dude, you're not bigger than some of these defensive linemen that are coming at you at a 4.8, 5.2 running straight at you. They're gonna bulldoze you. You might get a hit or two, but come on, man.
They held on to Sterling Shepard and they held on to Slayton too, by the way.
Well, in fact, actually, they had to sign Sterling Shepard back because they had released him.
Oh, okay. He's still listed on the depth chart.
Yeah, he just got signed like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But look,
Slayton was like yesterday or something.
Yeah, Slayton was it. So again, same names, same team, same quarterback, same running back. How you expecting to win 3 or 4 more games and be in the playoffs again? The 5 games.
Who do you have winning the East right now? Do you think Philadelphia is going to repeat?
I think the Cowboys and Washington are going to be 1 and 2. And Philadelphia is going to be 3 because Philadelphia just got fleeced. They just been losing players left and right.
Well, they brought back Slay and they brought back Bradbury at corner.
Yeah, and then they got Mariota as a backup now.
Yeah. Are you saying he may be bad luck?
Oh man, I don't like. He can opportunity after opportunity.
I think they're a very deep team. I still like Philly, man. Actually, I think they're still going to be fine.
Did Kelsey retire?
No, Kelsey's going to play.
Did he say he's going to play?
Now he may get hurt though. He's 35 now.
He's older, man.
Yeah, injuries may catch up with him this year. They kind of got lucky last year with their injuries, and even Jamie can admit that. Our Philly sports guy. He said my only worry is offensive line injuries because Lane Johnson's no spring chicken and neither is Kels.
No, the experience last year helped them because they had a good running attack with the running back as well as with nobody knowing what Hurts was going to do. So
see, Pickles he knows the truth about Mariota.
I think having Mariota is better than having Mustache Willie in behind.
Gardner.
Yeah.
No, he's a better athlete, and he may fit better in this offense, actually. Yeah. But he's Mariota. You want to keep Hurts in there.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, if you had a pick between Gardner Minshew and Mariota, you're going to pick Gardner Minshew?
Mariota would probably be a better fit for their offense.
Yeah, so they did okay doing that. So
yeah, that's true. Now I'm out of Nashville. You keep up with Nashville. You kind of got
on the linebacker
residents. Today, news came out that their Pro Bowl safety, they're asking him, Kevin Byard, to take a pay cut. What's your thoughts on that and their offseason moves, or in my opinion, lack thereof it?
Well, they're making defensive moves right now. I think for the offense, they want to get younger.
Yeah.
Because they've had experienced players and it backfired on them. Remember, they had Julio Jones. They had Davis, who didn't really work out.
Corey Davis
ended up leaving.
Who the Jets may end up cutting, by the way.
Yes, exactly. And then they invested in keeping the running back Derrick Henry. So
yeah.
Remember that O-line has been injury ridden, and now they no longer have injury prone players on that. I don't want to sound mean, but so they're gonna try to get guys that can stay in the lineup longer, and they've been doing an okay job. So they're gonna be.
They brought a backup in to potentially be a starter from Philadelphia, a guy named Andre Dillard.
Yeah, they just did that yesterday, right?
Yeah, this past week.
Yeah, this past week. So, and I think that was because he could play center or guard. Dillard can. So
yeah. Well, they may keep him at left. That I'm not in love with. That just tells me that these defensive-minded head coach, they poo-poo the offensive line. You look at all the money that the Bears have. They still ain't done nothing for their line.
Okay, so Robert, here's the thing. The Titans are in no situation that the Bears have been in the last 5 seasons at all, right? So if you look at the top teams in the divisions, they always have less money and more issues with cap room because they're in the top division. They got the players that are helping making that happen, right? Yeah. So the Bears just weren't there, man, and they got a lot of compensation from a lot of moves that they make. The Mac move, they just kept making moves left and right. They got rid of their Chubb. They just kept getting rid of guys and got compensation for them, and because they felt like it wasn't working. And you have to understand that defensive-minded coach, Eberflus, he's looking for certain mentality. He's looking for speed. He's looking for, just guys that grind it out.
My point was he was putting his money in his defense. Like, for instance, Pittsburgh, over the years, they still haven't rebuilt their offensive line.
Nope.
And that's why you got these last 2 quarterbacks running for their lives there.
Yep.
Teams that put the money in the offensive line, they start to win. Kansas City, Philadelphia. Philadelphia is the most expensive offensive line in the NFL, by the way. And they're the best, according to all the ratings, Pro Football Focus including. And it kind of concerns me that Tennessee has not done that, even though they gave they got this Andre Dillard guy, like a 3-year, $29 million contract, but they didn't do nothing about like going after McClinchy, who used to play with the 49ers, that ran Carthon, who signed with Denver, people like that. It's a boring position to talk about. It's not glamorous. It's not on TV. But really, that is the center point of these teams, man. That is your nucleus.
Right. So
and
the biggest
that's kind of a bad thing for Tennessee right now. It doesn't look good. Maybe they'll get some high draft pick.
I was going to go that route. They're
Yeah.
gonna try to pick high. They're gonna try to pick up guys off of practice squads. They're gonna try to, they'll piece something together. The most important thing is that what they look for are bigger guys to make sure that Henry can get past that first level. And I think
no push last year. Yeah.
Yeah, and what we're seeing is that the linemen keep getting smaller, right? So that's where Tennessee is having this issue, because the linemen are getting smaller. These holes are getting smaller, but they got a big back there. So they need to figure it out. They haven't had to the point that I'm saying they haven't even had an offensive coordinator there stay for more than 2 seasons in the last 5 seasons.
That's a good point.
So, like those things affect all these decisions that they're making. But at the end of the day, and everybody knows this, defense wins the game, right? They keep you in the game and then win you the game. Because you can win with the okay quarterback, right? That's the word on the street, right? You don't got to be the best rated quarterback to win,
No, but the line's terrible, and I think a lot of that is
look at Kansas City. They got a terrible O-line.
No, they've got a pretty good line.
You think so?
The only time they had a bad line is when they had those 2 injuries in the Buffalo game in the playoff. And then those guys went down in the Super Bowl, and of course they lost to Tampa that year.
All I see is Mahomes running for his life, trying to make plays.
That's him ad-libbing.
Yeah, so that means that your O-line is not as good as as it's written out, bro. I don't know.
Steven says top flight security, other has secrets. The Secret Service is those good offensive line. I just think it's something that Tennessee needs to address, and it seems to be a thing with these defensive-minded guys. And I hope it doesn't cost Tennessee. I think Vrabel's a great coach, not a good coach, a great 84 games he's coached. Tennessee's been in the playoffs, and they were in playoff contention. I read this in all 84 games, and they're just not having a good offseason. And hopefully they're still working out the kinks. Kevin Byard, really good player, by the way, all pro level. He's a $19 million cap hit, man.
I think that he'll restructure his contract.
You think he'll come to his senses?
Well, he
went to MTSU, by the way. So
yeah, he's home, man. He's home.
Right.
His compensation on the back end is going to be pretty nice. Yeah. So he, as long as he's got a good agent, they're going to be okay. These guys will be okay and taken care of. And Tennessee's always been one of those teams that pay out players. I mean, they picked up back in the day. They picked up the guy Yancey Thigpen. He was supposed to be in the whole. He didn't play the whole season, and he still got compensated. Yeah, and he took a pay cut after winning the Super Bowl with the Steelers.
Yeah, Yancey. Yeah, you're going way back there. Different regime now, but
yeah, I'm just saying, like Tennessee's a small market, so they got to work out these contracts and compensate people on the back end, because they're not like the Jets and the Giants and in San Francisco. So there's things that they have to do that they can maneuver and make these things look nice and sweet and for the taking.
Yeah, and it's still early. They did pick up a guy from San Francisco to play guard. And that being said, in the past when they've done moves where I kind of poo-pooed them and think they wasn't going to do nothing, they pick up guys like Dino Autry from the Colts. That turned out to be a great player for them. So I mean, we'll see how it plays out. Right now, I'm just not very enthused.
I think you probably think about the draft and how for every season that the Tennessee has drafted in the last 5 seasons, they've drafted high, middle round. They drafted high to middle.
To late. Yeah, because they made the playoffs.
They drafted high to middle rated players, right? But these players haven't panned out. So it's not Tennessee's fault, really. they've gotten high. They gotten pretty good rated players. They even got the quarterback last year really low in the third round. But they just haven't been able to hit on the lottery, right? So the lottery has worked nice for Tennessee because they've been able to get good players, but the players just haven't, not all of them, but some of these players haven't it just hadn't gone the way that Tennessee wants them to. Like when they got the wide receiver, he didn't play the whole season, but Burks, he was good. It was good to see him on the field when he played, but he didn't play the whole season. So those kind of things, you know, as Tennessee fans and people are watching football, you see those things. Remember they poo-pooed on that lineman. You know, they picked one of the best linemen in the draft, and he didn't turn out to be a good lineman. You know, he got cut, and then he went on and just his life.
Oh, the Georgia guy.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Well, that what you're saying is why Amy Adams Strunk eventually just fired John Robertson. I mean, he was taking what, for example, this year I'm hearing Jalen Carter has got another speeding ticket. He came into the big prospect out of Georgia,
the one who was racing with his friend on the highway.
Yeah, well, he also has gotten some trouble since then, and he does his pro day. He's out of shape at his own pro day. There's no way I would take him in the top 5. But somebody like John Robertson, a friend of mine, Kareem, I may get Kareem to come on next week if he don't get camera shy on me. He was saying that will be somebody John Robertson would like to take.
Yeah,
a troubled player,
but because that's the attitude
player.
You need that on the edge, killer, crazy attitude.
But you don't want to take a guy like that very early because the public already knows that he's got some maturity issues. You're going to get, anytime he messes up, you're going to hear it from the media, the fans. You know,
I mean, yeah, and these guys like Stetson Bennett, they're not doing themselves any favors. I mean,
and Bennett, yeah, you just wonder if Georgia's, you know, they're running too loose a ship down there.
You know, the Tennessee of the late 90s, bro.
The Tennessee got into some. I was thinking Florida State of the early 90s too.
University of Florida, always
Florida in the mid 2000s, right?
Always fighting at the clubs, man. I thought you're supposed to make love, not war. What's wrong with
Pickles? Pickles is okay. So Pickles, you out on your bet there, which I said gentleman's bet, Pickles, which I meant just bet for bragging rights. You said $10. I said, okay, I'll take $10. But Pickles, if you want to call that bet off on the 17th of March, that is perfectly okay with me. Now, Pickles says, for the audience in the podcast, I've dropped Carter from top 5 to mid-30. Yeah, he's got weight problems, maturity issues, multiple speeding tickets. We ain't even gave him a big bunch of money yet.
You know what? He might go to second round. He still might go to second round, Robert. He still might go to second round.
That makes me think, well, maybe you get a bargain in the second round.
I mean, because the thing is that these GMs, they want a guy they don't have to pay anyway, right? So you got a rookie contract and you got him in the second round. You don't got to pay him that much when you have to re-up his contract.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think a guy like this, it's really unfortunate, but at least you know now and before you're starting to give him a big chunk of money and a signing bonus, right? Even though I'm sure he's got some NIL money, but NFL money is NFL money. It's still big money.
Bro, I mean, money. Look, at the end of the day, for these kids, the money is it's what's calling them, right? They're not gonna not try to get drafted and play in the NFL. No, I mean, look, all you got to do is play three seasons in the NFL and you're good, right?
Well, the average person, I've did this before, makes about $3 to $3.5 million their whole life. That's pretty much the average salary in the NFL.
Tell me how close you are to that $3 million, bro.
I'm a long way out, man. I got to get my Pat McAfee like break.
It was in the late 2000s that the average person was only averaging like $29,000 a year.
Now it's between like 40 and 60, I think.
Really?
For the whole country, not New York.
No, I was gonna say, really, the whole country's moved up from 30 to 40 now.
Yeah, well, you add inflation and everything.
Inflation don't make your money go up,
Google, man.
Inflation don't make your money go up. Inflation makes you spend more money.
Well, it's fake money, right? But the thing is that they're doing pretty well. They can take a little criticism, even after agent fees. They're still doing really well. And some guys can't handle it, They simply cannot handle it. Speaking of weird things, they're kind of odd. What do you think about Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Raiders? I mean, man, don't you think they kind of overpaid him? He's hurt all the time.
My man been getting overpaid since he left college. So he got a good
Southern
agent.
Illinois.
He got a good agent. He didn't go to Illinois. He went to
Yeah,
where'd he go? What'd you
Southern
say?
Illinois.
No, he didn't go to Southern Illinois.
He went to a small school, man.
He went to a small school, yeah.
Wow, dude. FDU is still beating Purdue 54-53. That's a 1 seed.
Bro, I told you, I was watching FDU. There was no joke, man.
Who is FDU?
Furley Dickinson.
Yeah, where did you see what did he play at?
In Jersey.
Really?
Yeah, but I saw them play to get into the.
Oh, okay. You act like you follow them like you followed.
No. I wasn't following them. No, I was watching the play. I was watching the playing game.
Yeah. No, so you got me looking up Jimmy Garoppolo did not go to a big school, man.
No, he played. He played for the Panthers. Southern Illinois. Did you say Southern Illinois?
Yeah, I think it's. That's my guess off the top of my head. I'm almost for certain. He's from Arlington Heights, Illinois, and Eastern Illinois.
Eastern Illinois. Are they the Panthers?
North, South, East, and West.
No. Are they the Panthers?
I don't know their team name. They got him in the second round. The guy's hurt all the time. I mean, look, they don't really have a good line down there.
He just eye candy and he getting paid no matter what. So
yeah, no, I read that where the Bunny Ranch chicks are saying welcome. Yeah, that was trending on Facebook. Remember he dated that porn star in San Francisco? Then he took her or Beverly Hills. He takes her to a nice restaurant.
The Playboy model.
Kyle Shanahan didn't like that, man.
The Playboy model?
No, she was some kind of porn star. And he got a lot of bad play. This was about 3 years ago.
I thought it was a Playboy model.
Well, I thought it was I know it was a porn star, actually. I'm just telling you, man.
Hey, man, listen, to each his own, man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, he gets a lot of chicks. I saw those dancers for the Golden State Warriors greet him at the Warriors game, and I don't think he wanted to leave Frisco, but then he goes to Vegas. But my prediction is, not unless they get some good insurance on a backup, man, they don't have a good line, and the way he gets hurt, I think this will probably be the last of Josh McDaniels as a head coach. Maybe give him 1 more year, but I doubt it.
Look, Jimmy G we're not worried about his dating stats. We just want to make sure he stays on the field.
No, I know. That's all the side stuff.
Look, you know, Robert, and I hate to tell people this, because it's the truth, but all he does is win, man. All he does is win. No matter where he's been, he's won.
Well, he don't finish seasons, man.
But still winning seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take.
Somebody has mentioned that he's been the luckiest mother effer that has ever walked this earth.
You can call it what you want, but Zach Wilson didn't have it. Daniel Jones don't have it, and a lot of these guys in NFL who playing quarterback don't have it.
So why do you think the Frisco moved on, man?
Well, they moved on because they don't want to pay a guy that might not play 10 games.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, he's a decent quarterback, but I don't think he's going to do all that.
They moved on from Jimmy G because Jimmy G doesn't run Kyle Shanahan's playbook like he wants it to.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan expects to do different things, and Jimmy G is not that kind of athlete. He's a quarterback, but he ain't the athlete that Kyle Shanahan wants. And Kyle Shanahan is throwing Jimmy G under the bus even before he made it to California, which is why Jimmy G just put his finger at him and is like, yeah, whatever, bro.
No, I don't have any problem with the guy's play, but at some point when you're getting hurt this many times, and a lot of times he's taking these hits on purpose, trying to get an extra yard.
How about his O-line maybe gave up on him for him talking trash?
Yeah. So I did look him up. Yeah. He went out with some porn star named Cara Maya, M-I-A, back in 2018, and everybody picked it up. You know, it was out there. I don't care what he does, but being a quarterback, some of that stuff gets in the news, and it really, you don't want the team getting ass crap like that.
Look, he in the right
It irritated management up there.
He in the right place. Just win, baby. Just win.
Well, yeah, that's fine. I think he's a bridge quarterback to a backup in the future. He would be a glorified backup for me.
Robert, I think a lot of people miss the fact that this guy, he might not be. I say this, and I don't mean to be like offensive in any way.
Yeah.
But to me, I think he's just a prototypical white quarterback that's decent enough to get you to a Super Bowl. And I say it in like they've had guys like that before, like a Mark Rippon, guys like
game manager.
The game manager, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing
is you can't say that for white guys. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater's a game manager.
Yeah, but he ain't take nobody to
McNabb was a game manager.
But McNabb could run the ball. He was athletic and strong. Jimmy G's not strong.
People says he'd rather have Tannehill than Jimmy G. Tannehill's a little tougher, but he's a little older. Tannehill never been blessed with the kind of talent that Jimmy G had around him.
The problem is that Tannehill and Jimmy G are probably about 45 to 55 pounds difference in 2 inches.
Who's bigger, Tannehill?
Tannehill. He's an athlete and he can run the ball.
Yeah, Tannehill played receiver at
the guy would play receiver if he wasn't a quarterback. So
yeah,
I mean, Jimmy G can't play receiver.
No. I like that guy. He looked good when he first got there.
He kind of remind me of.
Hurt,
I think, but Jeff Garcia. Jeff Garcia was a little bit smaller than Jimmy G, though.
He could run though.
Yeah, but and Jimmy G's a little bit bigger than Jeff Garcia, but Jimmy G can't. He's not a speedster. He's not as like Garcia. So I think that's the biggest thing with Jimmy G is like he got nobody. What can Jimmy G run? Or nobody cares. They're like, no, this, and that's the problem with Kyle Shanahan's system. His system's set up for you to get rid of the ball quick.
Do you think he'll finish the season? Where do you see the Raiders next year?
I think the Raiders are probably going to sneak up and be second in the AFC West to Kansas City.
You think they'll get in the playoffs?
Yeah.
That's saying a lot, man. I'll give you plenty of time to change your mind on that one.
But
I think the Chargers are looking good, man. And Denver. What about Denver? They signed 2 offensive linemen.
Yeah, but who are they running the ball? Who's running the ball for them?
It doesn't matter. They have a bigger hole to run through.
My man,
Javonte Williams, he'll be back.
I mean, come on, listen. All right, so the Raiders got Jimmy G. They got the wide receiver that stayed. They Adams.
They got Jacoby Myers.
They got
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, so he got weapons like he had in San Francisco.
This line is not as good as Frisco, man.
But here's the thing. You know the difference between San Francisco and Las Vegas right now?
What's that?
They ain't running that crap Shanahan system, my man. That makes a huge difference.
Forget you. So you're not a big fan of Kyle Shanahan and Tom Thibodeau. Those are your guys, right?
It's like, bro, they keep running the same thing, expecting different results, man.
That's the definition of insanity. Was what Pickles said. That's funny, man. That's funny. I just think the Raiders didn't have no other choice, really. You got no other. Okay, yeah. You know what? If you're on the bottom, they ain't nowhere up to go. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
You're gonna see it, man. Vegas.
Started from I hope best for them.
I ain't saying they're going to the Super Bowl, but they're gonna be in second or third place.
Kellen Moore, the truth of the matter, they will be better. As much as I dog out that head coach for the Chargers, that team will be better next year.
The Chargers? Yeah. Eckler's leaving, bro. Eckler wants out.
Well, Eckler, God, who cares? Get another running back.
Oh, my man. Eckler is such a
go ahead.
He's one of those dependable he's like a security blanket, man. He's a dependability guy. You lose a guy like that, you lose a lot of physical mentality, physical force, physical mindset that you need to just grind out that next play. So you're gonna get another running back, but that running back's gonna be like, I just gotta make the team, right? So
let me ask you a question. When's the last time the team that led the league in rushing, Pickles, and for you, of course, Carlos, that's won the Super Bowl, led the league? Colin Cowherd brought this up the other day because, Dallas cut Zeke the other day.
Right. They cut Zeke. But come on, Zeke's on the third.
So just take a guess. The last time a team won a Super Bowl that led the NFL in rushing.
Was that the Terrell Davis Denver Broncos?
They ran well. They didn't air quote lead the league. According to Colin Cowherd, and he's got Fox Sports stats.
Well, it might have been Bettis. It might have been Jerome Bettis in Pittsburgh.
I'll give you one more guess.
It wasn't either of those two?
Go back.
Further?
Yeah. 80s.
Then Bettis and Davis?
Walter Payton, 1985, Pickles. It wasn't even Emmitt Smith.
Nah, because Emmitt Smith, they had all those guys that Troy Aikman
says it was that, and that's right.
85 Bears.
The next year they were five. So it was 85 Bears. So you still have to. Running backs help, but they can't be everything. You have to have balance.
So here you go, Robert.
But it can't be all Russian. You know what I'm saying?
No. But the reality is, if Jerome Bettis wasn't on that Pittsburgh team, would they have won the Super Bowl?
They would have had another. They had a good offensive line.
Would they have won the Super Bowl? You can say it.
I'll tell you this: they won it because of Ben Roethlisberger and the defense. Remember, they had Drew Maddox there for a few years, and he didn't do nothing.
Didn't do anything.
Although I'm friends with him on Facebook, I like to bring him on. I hope he don't hear that, but
it wasn't about the quarterback play, man. But look, I mean,
I like balance. But it can't be all the way Russian, dude. It cannot be all the way Russian.
Even like Curtis Martin had a couple years rushing with the Patriots.
That y'all needed that balance. You needed the balance.
They had
Curtis Martin could do it all. He could not do it all. Derrick Henry down here can't do it all. Tennessee owes him $16 million, like Dallas owes Dak, and I don't know what or Zeke. He's just behind.
But I told you that from last year, from the beginning of last year, that Dallas is going to have problems because they got two running backs that want to be number one, and that hurt them, man. Yeah. You cannot have a team-minded, and a winning experience if you got two guys trying to battle it out for first place.
I don't think he's going to have many suitors. He's going to be a short yardage back making like the league minimum up in New England somewhere.
I don't even think
he's going to be like LeGarrette Blount.
Who would pick him up? Maybe he could be a backup running back.
Hey, what do you think about the Patriots picking up Gesicki and Juju Smith-Schuster? I thought those were pretty decent pickups.
They still need a quarterback. Who cares who they pick up?
Well, they need another receiver for Mac, and I think they're going to be pretty good. They're going to be much better than people think.
They're not going to beat the Dolphins.
No, I like Jalen Ramsey's pickup better than anything. That's the best move of the whole
Bills. The Bills just got fleeced.
They didn't do nothing.
The Jets don't have a quarterback.
They're a big question mark.
The Patriots are they doing what the Giants doing. They're just running in circles, running the same thing again, trying to expect.
They got Bill O'Brien as y'all OC now.
Yeah, but so I asked Keith this morning on the show, what does he expect? How many more games are they going to win with O'Brien there as a coach? And he says maybe 3 more. Come on. Is that even going to matter?
I think Buffalo may take a step back as much as I like Buffalo, man.
Buffalo ain't never been that great, bro. They just smoke and mirrors, man.
I know you're not a Buffalo guy. You
keep picking them like they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Man.
That coach can't win. He can't get over the hump, man.
Well, it's probably going to be Cincinnati of the AFC, but it's early. They picked up Orlando Brown. They're getting better on the offensive line. I like what they did. They lost 2 safeties, but Cincinnati, probably my Super Bowl pick. But, hey, we still have the draft. There's still players in free agency. Players can be traded. Hopkins may get traded to New England.
Coaches come and go still. Coaches are still coming and going. So
they're still moving coaches around. That's true. And we don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do.
Once XFL finishes, somebody's going to pick up Wade Phillips. So
He's a pretty good defensive coordinator. Is he still coaching?
He coaching on the XFL.
Oh wow, man, he's like 85 years old, ain't he?
Hey man, you got that guy. When you put him on your team, you're halfway to a Super Bowl.
Well, I do like his defensive. He's not a head coach material, but he's a good defensive guy. You know, I like Wade Phillips. You know, I'll take Wade Phillips. All right, man. Well, that's about all we got. You got anything else you need to plug or whatever?
Oh no, I mean, listen. Now check out the Mad New Yorker Facebook page. If you're in New York or in the East Coast and you want to see a Yankees game, we got Yankees tickets for $70 against Tampa Bay.
Okay, nice.
It's a fundraiser for the elementary school that I work with. We're just trying to raise funds for students here so they can have a good school year, extra field trips. NYC Department of Education, their budgets are really, really just all over the place. So some of these kids don't get what they should get during the regular school year. So if you guys can help out, and just get some tickets.
That's the Facebook page. It's easy, huh?
Yeah, the Mad New Yorker. You'll see I'm gonna drop it tonight. I'm gonna put out. We got until March 31st to buy these tickets. They're $70 a pop. You're gonna be over there at the home run.
How'd you get these tickets?
I'm working with the Yankees.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, you get some of the Yankees to come on the program.
I told you I could get.
Get A-Rod on here. I'm still waiting for that. That was last June, man. Come on, man.
No, what I said was. Anyways, we talk about that stuff.
I kid, man. You know what? I may get Doc Gooden on. I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Man. He's a good guy, man. He's
very good.
I've seen him at a lot of Mets
guy.
events.
Yeah.
He ain't here in New York anymore. He's in Florida, but when he come up here for the Mets,
he got wise. He got out of that cold weather.
Yeah, you got to get out of New York sometimes. But he's a good guy, man. He does a lot of good things when he does the charities and stuff, and it's good to see him getting healthy and stuff. So,
Amen. Amen. All right, man. Hey, thanks again for coming on. You always help me out on Friday nights, man. Stay in touch. And for the audience, let's see. Let's see if Purdue is still winning before we leave here. Or still losing. They were losing, man.
I got so much, like, these games got my phone all jacked up.
They're down by 3 points, man. Like 18 seconds to go.
Well, I don't have Purdue. I didn't pick Purdue. That was my number one team that I wouldn't put as a.
But in the first round, I mean, that's crazy. That's only the second time since Virginia a few years ago.
Man,
go figure. Keith was wrong. I was right. It's gonna be a George Mason year. See you, man. Hey, Techno Geeks.
Catch you on the flip.